Hello, and today is that of Tuesday, 24th day of July, 2018. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. This is a crypto trading update. Basically, what I'm seeing, what I am doing on a larger level. And of course, as always, your own risk, own reward for all ventures, traded, bets that are made within the crypto space. Risk reward management is job number one, and I am very confident that this is by far the best advantage player game in the business. Better than poker, better than blackjack, better than sports betting, or any of the other games that can be very profitable as well, just not as. Okay, so the intro, all that type of stuff is done. Let's take a look first at SYSBNB. I haven't traded this in a while, but this is one that looks like just might be ready to possibly get going. It had a decent sized move going from 1223 against Binance against 1566. It'd also be having a move against Bitcoin as well. It has been chopping, consolidating amongst the area for which it came from, and here at about the right where this resistance was on July the 18th. So I'm going to be curious to see if this goes. For me, I'm not doing any type of setups for this. My buy orders and sell orders are usually always in. Thankfully, they're usually in. We'll get to that in a bit. And they'll be ready to go when they so desire. That means when the market's ready to move. Oh my goodness, these things can move. Now, one of the problems that I've been having lately is not having much Bitcoin. So what I've been unfortunately having to do to prevent myself from depositing from a hardware wallet is I have been selling funds and reducing exposure. Vercoin being one of them. I'm kind of thankful that I did, considering it's now down to 12.6, and I unloaded about well over half of it up in the middle part of this range. And again, some coins I completely got out of, and some of it is also because of a little bit of fear that, you know what, want to play more safer coins than anything, as not only really for delisting purposes, but I do feel a time at some point is going to come into place where a lot of these coins will be basically really getting the shitcoin label given to them. Will show how much of such they really are. And Vercoin, I don't think is such on that. I think it's a very good coin, actually. But now this is going to give me the possibility, if I see a nice leg lower from here, because I'm seeing the failed breakout in here, that I can look towards getting this back, especially because I can calculate Fibonacci downside. I can see a low in here at, what do we got, 1322? I'll use that number. And a high at about 1671. And with a down target in 1144, I'd be expecting it could go down to at least down to the 11 handle, or go down another 10+% more. It's just now made the statement that it's breaking down. So it's either going to create that failed breakdown move and it's going to have a decent leg higher, probably up to 20,000 plus, or it's going to test some areas. And if you want to look at some other areas, you could even think that it's going to maybe even break down below the 10 number and not care too much about short-term Fibonacci, because there are Fibonacci numbers all over the place. Of course, I don't have any drawn here. Let's see if I got it drawn on the Bittrex exchange. I do, but not enough to validate where it would be going. But anyway, something I think definitely has the potential to go down a little bit more. Let's move on to DGB, and I'm trading this very short term now. A lot of it was due to boredom, and because I know I can get some good profits doing such as well, trading it short term. When I look at such on a single hour time frame, these are the type of movements I want. I had 4 buy orders come in on the way down, and so far 2 sell orders thus far on the way higher. To give you an example of the orders I have, I'm not going to show you the amounts, but they are mathematically designated for what I think are the right amounts based on how many I own, to sell the highest amount possible while playing this to as high as it wants to get. Buy orders in at 542, 523, 507, 456, 405, and 255. And if it goes down some more, I'll enter new ones in. And of course, I mean, I got these lower ones in just in case someone wants to bring this market like much, much lower on some sort of big volume sale. I've seen it happen now and again. It's not too often, but if you always have them in there ready to go, why not? Sell order 602, 617, 629, 42, 69, 72, 85, 698, 711, 733. And then the volatility picks up. Instead of every like dozen or so points, it goes from 733 to 827 to 899 to like 10,000. So I'm selling more on my last few sell orders. But all my sell orders from 733 down to 602, I'm selling the exact same amount on every single one. Same thing with all my buy orders down to 507, a little bit more at 456, which is the same as I got at 405 and a whole bunch more at 255. Let's move on to Bitcoin on the single hour time frame, and this thing is just going high. It is just pumping like no other, which is awesome. Although my strategy in which I was playing, at least on that of Bittrex, and even for that matter Binance as well, given that I got a large hedge size order there as well, decent size. But anyway, I use that as a place to hold fiat currency. But the way I've been looking at it, and it's been this way up till now, or up until July, when coins go down, Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down at a higher rate of descent, which means that the crossings against Bitcoin will go down. And when markets go up, Bitcoin goes up, everything else should go up, which means altcoins should go up at a higher rate of ascent as Bitcoin. And that's not been the case, because during this fantastic rally, and I should be using a different time frame, so the 400-minute is a good example here. This thing has just been in an amazing up move, thus all the other coins going sideways, barely up against the dollar, and in some cases even down against the dollar, is getting crushed on the Bitcoin. And what's been going on is holding the TUSD fund on Bittrex. And because it's the opposite of Bitcoin, it's going down right now. But what I was noticing, at least up until the top in here for the late June levels, is that it worked out amazingly for me. For when everything was going down, that meant there were so many buybacks and new leg lowers where I was just buying altcoin after altcoin, and you knew that there wasn't going to be sells. Oh, what did something like Strat do? I'm buying order there. Or how about Steam or Steam dollars? I'm going to buy that. Oh, THC, buy. Vertcoin, buy. Omisco, buy. Litecoin, buy. It's just buying everything. And it gets expensive when you play a whole bunch of different coins like that. But what was a big relief was having the availability to get payouts here, because, okay, I'm going to have to pay maybe 15 units in buy orders that are executed, or even like 3 or 4 units rather, and I'm getting a unit just selling, or maybe a unit and a half selling the TUSD for some portions. So it was like, okay, that works out. And then in situations where markets were all going up over whatever period of time, that means I'm getting sell order on those altcoins, and I'd be buying the TUSD. So in situations like, say, in here, if the altcoins were going up during the April Fool's rally, it worked out that I was selling the altcoins and I was buying it back within the TUSD. It worked out great. So all that type of stuff worked well. But now, of course, it's been the opposite. Not only have I not been getting sales on TUSD to cover that of the altcoins that I'm buying, but I'm getting my buy orders hit on this to the point where I'm exhausting buy orders until a significant move lower comes into place. And it's been creating a problem for me where I'm running out of Bitcoin for the most part. I've added into other coins. I've added a few odd position here and there. And in doing such, I'm getting low. And it's been frustrating. One of the most frustrating things I noticed a couple days ago, definitely yesterday, it was this move in ADT, which basically went from like 200 and is now up to 684, and it was up to 1,000. So I got a little lucky and unlucky here, I suppose, for I have the opposite of a great photographic memory. One of my difficult things when I'm trying to do difficult mathematical calculations in my head is remembering the numbers that I need to remember. Thus, oftentimes I can forget and I just will not get the correct answer, because I forgot the number that I thought in my head from 7 seconds ago or 2 seconds ago might have been 217. Oh, what was that number? I forgot. Well, before all of this happened, I was, one of these days, I can't remember if it was up here at 2:30 or which day it was, but I unfortunately have been basically having to get out of so many altcoins or lower the amounts, like in that Vertcoin case, so Mies Go as well, where I would reduce the amount of holdings that I had so that I could buy other codes that need buybacks and lower legs lower, as well as the entries into a couple other key coins. And on Binance, my funds there were low, so I ended up actually transferring some Bittrex funds over there just to buy on that site as well. So it was getting difficult. And yeah, it was frustrating to see, oh great, how beautiful is it that I sold this beforehand, and then it has this move, or it has like a 4.5x move. I mean, whatever. I guess that's just part of the game. Oh, 4x move. You're talking about a 5.5x move, and well, what happened was I went to my for the first time in a few days, I pushed the wallets button on Bittrex, and I seen that I had all my ADT there not in order, which meant, and I remember this now, that I undid it. I put a sell order in, but I took it out because I can't remember why I did, but I was definitely looking at the bids, and I noticed it was not strong enough for me to sell what I wanted. I didn't want to sell it down, realizing that I'd have to go through 3 or 4 different to 5 different bids, and I didn't like the bid ask at the time. So one of those things, okay, I'll get to that in the next half hour thing that you totally forgot about. So I noticed that they were all there. Now, if I would have noticed this last night, and I was looking at this at like 9:45 last night, that would have even been better. But what works out great for me as a trader is I was able to sell about 70% of what I owned, or selling it to my normal equivalency, putting a buy order in at 400, because, well, actually, I should be even going lower than that. I should be even going closer to 300 and change, actually. But being able to have the Bitcoin now, I mean, it's almost like a relief. Okay, so it's almost like getting not a free loan, but you're in need of a payday kind of loan. And I wasn't in need of it because I could have moved it from hardware wallets, but I don't have to do that anymore because, of course, that's sale. So it gives me a small little boost. If I have situations where all the altcoins have decent legs lower, then I can run that pretty quickly or get back to where I was, or back under, like I was getting close to having almost $100 left just to buy it. For me, that's not much at all. If I enter a position, I want to enter it for more than such, just as a minimum entry position. So now I got several hundreds in there to put buy orders in and to buy anything at any time I so desire. Binance Coin against Bitcoin is declining, which means altcoins against Binance should be doing a lot better, of course. But when we look at the volatility, this is just like a whatever move. Yeah, there's some decent, consistent downwards movement, but it's already went down from that of 26 to 14, almost half off. Also, it's down a lot. So if you're looking at the buy low, sell high type of parameters, would this be low, high, or neither? And for those that say it's high or that it's going to go much lower, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But in that example there, by this number being low at the 14, that means you're ready to go to, okay, well, it's going to go down to 10. Okay, you buy at 14, you buy at 10. Continuously buying on moves to the downside. Now, here's the thing that's a little frustrating, and I don't know if this is going to be bad news for the coin or not, but the trading fees on Binance have went up 50% on the Binance exchange. The way it was 0.1% if you did not participate within the Binance coin for rake, thus your Bitcoin or Tether or whatever, down to 0.05% if you choose Binance. So half off. Okay. So therefore you get half the price. That's just a better deal. But interestingly enough, this number has increased, but not the 0.1 to 0.075. So that's an increase of 50%. And instead now of being half cheaper to trade Binance or to buy Binance over Bitcoin, it's a quarter cheaper, 25 divided by 100. Will that be an effect that's going to hurt the Binance coin? Because one of the case uses was to get the better rake and now the rake isn't as good as it used to be. And the overall nature of some of these coins is very bearish. NEM, it's been in a consistent downtrend since the April Fool's rally completed. A level of support was established at the end of June at roughly 24.29 Satoshi. And since it broke that on July the 20th, it looks like. Interesting day yesterday as the price rallies up to the 18 highs and is now retreating lower. So it's continuation on this leg lower. And again, within the strategies of the buy low, sell high, you can get situations like, say, back in September where this thing went straight down from a level of 89.16 down well over 90%, because we can see this is near 500 as far as its low. And if you were able to stay in the game and just keep buying, you got it all profited there. So everything you profited, you're in the process of buying back. And of course, within the strategy, what's so awesome is it's so easy to see in the sense that everything you sold in March was bought back. And what you bought, say, in the middle of July, some of it you were able to sell in the earlier parts of August, buying it back, of course, at the lower end of the range. Then this leg lower had buy written all over it. And then you had a situation on December the 9th where it went up high to like 47, then back down the trading range at 28. So buyback for one play in what was a new bull market. And then all the selling that happens up until the high that occurred on January the 5th. And since January 5th, it's been all selling mainly. Yeah, you had this run, like a March rally before the April Fools that went from fib to fib, or about 2,900 to like 5,500, all basically double, because it could have been 58, no, almost double. But it meant that the buys that you had, okay, you buy at say 41, maybe you bought again at 31, or whatever you bought from, like, say that this point lower, all would have been sold. Because say your last buy would have been, say, 31.95. Maybe you put a sell order at 38.40. Okay, it hits. Then you had another one at 44. It hits. Then you had another one at 51.77. It hits. Then you had another one, say, at 58. That did not hit. So all those ones that you sold on there, maybe a couple of them you bought back here. And then maybe you sold once or twice again on this up move, buying it back. And, well, now you're just buying back some of the stuff that you ended up selling, like, well, even back in this earlier point. And at some point, as long as this is going to be a good coin, I think it's got good fundamentals to the point that this is a coin at this stage, I have no reason where I would think I could sell it. And therefore, I will be looking to play for the new moves to go higher. And well, again, it's in a downtrend. It's going to go up for a while. It's going to go down for a while. We've seen every single time these altcoins go up, they go up pretty hard. Now, there's some coins I hold. I see I got the buy order. I'm thinking, wow, I still hold it. Like SRN is one that I'm still holding. It'd probably be easier just to do it this way. And it's broken down below this, and it's got nice volatility. We have a situation going from 3,100 before on its April Fool's rally, goes to 73, so better than double. Continue to go down, but I don't know much about this coin to say, hey, I'm confident in this. I know it's not a shit coin, at least in comparison to the others, because maybe it is. But because it broke down the support, that means my buy order hit. And since my buy order hit, I removed my 3 sell orders that I had, and I don't have a buy order anymore since it hit. So I put a new buy order in lower, and I adjusted my 3 sell orders. So if I get a buy order roughly at around this number, I'm going to be looking to sell here if it comes back to around this 2,200 area. And then I'll put a sell order maybe somewhere for around 3,200, previous area. And then I'll put a sell order in for usually about 15 to 20 times the price right now. So about 25,000. And I'll just sell it all there. Of course, I don't plan on doing it, but if you ask me the question, oh, if the market were to go up there, would you sell everything? Well, knowing that you'd have a move that would probably have a candle look like this, well more than 9 times out of 10 if it were to do it in a 24-hour time block, yeah. Because if this thing's going to have a natural generic 15, 10x kind of gain, it's going to take several days to do it. At least, I know this isn't the right code, but when you've seen so many codes in December doing it, that was sort of organic in the way that it took several days to get there. And anytime it happens all at once, then, I mean, that's what I'm looking for, is periods like, of course, you've seen on June the 7th. And I've been buying that of, because I don't got the chart, XBY a lot more. Price action has fallen below 400 Satoshi, trading in the high 300s. I got key Fibonacci within that area. The low is about 188. The high is, I think, is it 56 or 65? I think it was the 55. Well, Fibonacci would come in somewhere around the, when I calculated, somewhere around 400, we'll say. So it's piercing below what would work out to a 76.4% Fibonacci. This is a coin that went from last year, 188 to well over 5K. Or up to about 90 plus cents in US dollars per coin. Now it's less than 400 Satoshi to buy. And like DGP, I got sell orders and buy orders every like 7-point differential. Okay, I'm ready to sell at 399, 406, 413, 420, 427, 434. Why not? So that's what I'm doing there. Same thing with my buy orders. I haven't had any fills since the last 27 hours when I had some buy orders get filled amongst such, but I've accumulated this very heavy. I am very confident in this coin on the long-term time frame, and in crypto space, long-term isn't that big. It's when they're ready to go. And I am surprised, looking back at the correction from January, that it's been this half year. Although it could be another half year or 9 months as well, and I realize such. And if it is another year and a half or 9 months or 6 months, then there's going to be some false rallies and some sideways movements and extra legs lower before it really gets going. But as I've stated with cryptos, when they go up, they're going to go up extremely fast, which is the lovely part. And I'm very confident this thing is going to do very well as long as crypto space in itself stays together, which is the case obviously for all the coins. And I'm very confident on that as well. And I'm not going to say what it is that I know, but I know enough where I can confidently have this as my largest altcoin that's not Bitcoin or Litecoin. And then we got this Verge coin, which also extreme volatility, as I'm stating. Oh, 55 up to 1950. Okay, your standard 33 or 34x gain. No. Yeah, 34. No. 500 is 10, 5,000 is 100. So yeah, 30 or so plus X gain. And then your standard, again, retracement, losing about, oh man, that's just a lot. Losing about 80 more percent of your value. Then you go from 300 up to like 1,400. 4 plus X gain. And it's already given all that back and a bit more. It's now below the 23.6. No, it's not. Let me just get some accurate Fibonacci. This could even be like a 15% because, well, this is the 50%. It's just the scaling on these charts really suck. So 48 to 2,000. Let's just, or 50 and 2,000. Let's just quickly see what those numbers give. $23.6 is 119. Yeah, as I figured. 119, and then we got 205, which is still where it is below. So this is Fibonacci from the low in here. That makes sense. This is from the low in here. So now from the big low and the big high, the lowest two numbers again are 119 and 205. So 205 looks like it's the next target. Above 205 was 489, which coincides with the 494 number. And then the 76.4 was in at 837. And without changing the lines, basically what this means to me is that it's moving into neutral territory and it's crossing against that of Bitcoin. Back during this rally, Doug Polk, who is a poker player, was talking about this coin being that of a scam. Whether it is or not, you know what? It very well may be. It was used for a XXX website so that if you wanted to pay for pornographic footage, videos, whatever it may be, you could do so via Verge. And quite frankly, there's a lot of people that want to be very private when they want to buy this type of stuff. No way they want any of their banking information being leaked to such a degree. So the idea for such is pretty good. Whether, of course, it's going to end up working still, well, that'll be, time will tell within that. But the volatility of these moves are most certainly, they are magnificent. As we can even see, before all this was happening, it already had a move going from like 6 up to 250. And then 250 down to 42, 42 up to 200, back to 50. And now these moves just shrink in comparison with an improper logarithmic chart. A few other things I bought. I bought some SBD, just like, they're not really buybacks. It's just, oh, so the market has broken down below this low. My last trade would have been somewhere at around 17, probably a buy. So I'm going to buy some more, which means if it comes up here, I'll sell. If it goes down to about 11 or 12, I'll buy. Plain and simple. I bought some library credits as well, and I could have waited. That's because I sold up here. So if I'm able to sell up there, I'm able to buy it back where it came from. And now I'll sell back where it was again, around 2,000-ish or so area in here, if it goes there. 1,900 even, in that point there is probably where it is, the sell order. And if it happens to go lower, well, again, the volatility of these coins are fantastic. I had a Feather coin buy order get hit as well, as it's now back to its previous support area in here. But when you look at these moves, they're happening all the time. I mean, how beautiful the end of the year was to have these moves that you can go highlight this down. This is what I'm looking for as far as... I got a nerd on ARN to cross 71.23. Let's take a look at that now, because there's a reason I got it. Do I want to buy that? I guess I do. Okay, yeah, the key Fibonacci line. Okay, this is where I put a buy order in, because this is an alert. I remember doing this a long time ago on this channel. I'm like, you know what? I think this is going to go down, but I believe that if we have this situation, what I want to see happen is, and this is based on Fibonacci downside from this move, and when I see this low in here come down to 6 or the 8804, well, by all means, this is definitely doing what it's supposed to. So I'm going to be probably looking to put a buy order in for around 6,400 on this. As an entry position, I don't own any of this. But, well, my alert came through. And that is the end of this video. I did not plan at all on talking about Arion, because I had no idea that my alert would have been hit. I forgot about this for like, oh my goodness. I remember looking back at it as it was breaking below here in the middle of June, but I gotta think I talked about this on the channel at least 70 days ago. It's been a long time. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.